Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is 8:46 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday, April 19, 2021. So the title of the video is No News Monday. Will it be no movement too? So we are sitting up here. There's nothing really going on for U.S. news this entire week. We do have the Bank of Canada and the ECB this week later on. And then, of course, we have some earnings, right? We have Netflix after the bell tomorrow. We have IBM after the bell tonight. Uh, as we look at just where we've been, just even if you go back and look at the gap that's on the chart from basically April 1st until now, just taking back half of that distance would take us back down to 4,100, which would be a drop of about 67 points from here, or 80, 3 or 84 from the top. So that is totally within reason to happen potentially this week. Don't be surprised. And then the play will be, what to do next once that happens. I'm not shorting looking for that. I'm probably going to sit on my hands maybe this entire session today unless I see something develop. Right now, I think there's no edge to an entry on any of the equity indexes. So looking at those equity indexes as we look at the, a little bit of the middle time frames, the way I look at them, we're still holding up above this zone of 2215 to 2231 for the Russell, right? That should target up to all-time highs coming out of this consolidation. It has been weak. The Russell is still in a timeout for me. I will not trade the Russell until we get, over 2225 or over 2275 and fail, or look at for a continuation up or something. I'm not going to even start looking for a trade until we break this range of 2275 to the upside and 2175 to the downside. It's just in complete timeout for me. So looking at the other three indexes on Friday, all-time high for all three during the session, necessarily the bell. And looking at the, we'll start with the NASDAQ. 13, I'll go ahead and blow these up. And let's start, since I'm going to blow them up, let's go. It don't matter. So looking at the NASDAQ, this might be easier for you guys to see. 13,955 is just a basic support resistance level. There's really not too much until you get down to 13,825. I could put a middle marker in here right at 13,888. So remember 888 to see, really what goes on there. And then, 918, if all that happens is you go under the 55s to about 18 to 20, and then you pop back over 55, that's going to be a little bit more bullish in my stance, and maybe take that up to 14,021. Looking at the ES, there's really nothing as far as basic support and resistance that is even in play for it. And looking at the Dow, it's the same thing. There's nothing as far as basic support and resistance that's even in play for it. Looking at Tesla, Tesla has their earnings next Monday, the 26th, after the bell. I have a feeling it's going to gap one way or another out of these draws, right? We're going to end up with a winner or a loser on these consolidation draws. Right now, the Tesla is still basically holding those halfway back shorts that targets down to 455. And the draw I'm looking at is from 640 to high, and we'll see what happens with it. That 50 today would be right around 710 to 713 to see if it fires off or not. And it's been sitting there holding this 38.2 for a couple of sessions at the end of last week. So nothing really going on there. And Tesla might not even really do anything until after those earnings next week. Looking at the Russell for major support and resistance, again, you're looking down here at basically 2,200 on the downside, and right around 2,300 to the upside as far as anomalies in the profile. Looking at the ES, getting down towards 41.50 would be a little bit more interesting, right? And then we'll see the Dow actually still looks the strongest, right? Uh, if you look, the Dow is actually in value from Friday. The ES is trying to get back into it. The Russell and the NASDAQ are underneath. The Russell could easily, as narrow as it is, fire up and be over 2263 later. So I'm going to watch these overnight profiles, see if there's anything that gets going on, but I'm not too excited. And one thing I did want to look at, just on the ES, if you look at the 30-minute ranges, if I were to blow this back up. So 30-minute ranges here on the ES coming into the bell. You've got 7, then you come back down, you got 4.25, then you've got 2.5 points, 3 points, and now the forming bar that we're on is at 4, but it still has 8 minutes left in it. So we'll see if it takes out that high and gets up to it. But very tight, very range bound, and I don't think that there's any technical entries from what I'm looking at that have fired off on any of these indexes in the overnight session. So we'll see what Jack has to say, what he's looking at. Maybe he sees some good technical entries that did trade on these. I, however, have not. And again, I'm going to watch the overnight profile, and I'm not expecting a whole lot out of this session. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.